Hi everybody, welcome back to My Hips Don't Lie with Debora Utley. I'm so excited to see you guys here today, and I know it's been a while. The last week or so has just been super busy, and by the time, I have to be honest, I get to my PT, when I do it in the middle of the day, I try to think about work or do work or make my phone calls. And at night, I'll be honest, lately, I can't even keep my eyes open. I've just been so tired. Trying to be organized, trying to work and do the best that I can for my students while I try to balance working, teaching, my home, my family, and my rehab. I am, as of tomorrow will be 6 weeks out from my surgery, and I'm doing really, really great. There's no pain. My hip is still weak, so there's no pain, but I'm not a super great walker. I still have a little limp. I'm still trying to strengthen my hip, the joint. Little back pain is creeping back, and I think it's just, again, because I'm walking a little crooked, and of course no pain. I feel like I have no limitations, which unfortunately I still do, and every now and then I'll make a weird turn or do something weird and it will hurt, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I can't do that quite yet. So anyway, doing really, really great. Don't really need my cane or my crutches. Just still a little slow and a little weak. But other than that, great. I feel like I've got my energy back. I am 1 pound away from losing the few pounds that I gained since last March when COVID started, and I started cooking and we started eating really well, and a little too much dessert and a little too much wine and champagne with, every meal. So getting there. We're almost back to life. I am really excited. I'm going to go to school tomorrow and have an in-person rehearsal with my a cappella kiddos. And it'll be the first time that I've seen them in person since the end of October. So to say I'm excited is an understatement. I really, really can't wait to see them. We just auditioned our musical. We're getting started with our first meeting with our musical tomorrow. And I'm really excited. I feel like we're getting closer and closer. I'm getting closer and closer to regular life. My COVID vaccine is scheduled for round 1, and I'm just super excited about all of it, and was excited to share it with you tonight. So that's where we are right now. Our daughter is back at school and getting ready to start her softball season this week as they play in Minnesota. And my husband is furiously planning his football season, which, if we stay on schedule, officially starts on March 3rd, with the first game on March 19th. They play an abbreviated season, of course, but I know he and his boys are really, really excited to get started. So just kind of feel like we're almost there, right? So I hope all of you are right there with me. I know not everybody is an educator and may not be in this round of vaccines, but I know that they're going to be coming soon, and I can't wait. I can't wait for my family to be vaccinated and to get to see all of them. So really, really excited about that. But tonight, wanted to kind of continue where we left off last time. So last time I had picked up my mom after my stepfather and abuser had passed away, and we were going to get her to the hospital. As you know from my last video, she was very, very, very sick and needed to be hospitalized. So I was able to trick her into getting into the hospital by asking if, as I told you last time, she wanted to have her blood put back in her body that was stolen from her the night before at my stepfather's sister's house. So we got into the hospital, and my friend Vicky, of course, was there helping, and I brought her into the, there's a little room where you check in. Hi, my mother needs to see a doctor, and of course they asked what was wrong, and I explained the day, and they said, yes, absolutely, we will see her. Wait in the waiting room. So we were the only people there, which was kind of weird, but it was midday on a weekday, so maybe not a lot of people checking into the hospital at that time. So again, she was enamored with everything on the wall. And everything on the wall, I remember there was a picture, and it was just a landscape, and it was just an abstract, I guess, actually. And it was yellow. And so she's like, that's Phil, look, that's Phil. And I'm like, oh, okay, Mom, just really honestly just trying to appease her, right? That's Phil, he's yellow. And it just brought me to really think about what she had to witness as Phil died, right? So he was in the hospital, of course, and she was there with him. And from what I understood, slept on the floor, slept in his room, and didn't leave. And his organs very slowly shut down. And of course he jaundiced and fought for his air, and did not go gently into that good night. And so she had to watch that. And I can't imagine how traumatic that must have been, right? And I really never thought about that until I had her in the hospital, and kind of that moment with the painting. It was weird, but I think she was just processing that trauma. We were called back, and put into a little room. It was little, and little cot, some machines, right? It was just like an exam room. And she was starting to get a little feisty. I think the nurse took her vitals and said that we would be seen soon by a doctor. And I was like, okay, great. I just got to keep her in here, right? And so kind of had her in a little chair in the corner, and then I was seated right next to her, and then the door was to my left. So she was to my right. I was kind of in between her and the door, and just kind of trying to soothe her and just talk calmly and softly, and which is not my strong suit. I'm a little loud and intense, so I was really trying to not be myself. So anyway, we're waiting. Y'all, it was like somebody turned a switch, and my mom was suddenly lucid. I don't think in my adult life, I don't remember ever seeing her in that state, ever, where she wasn't manic or just riddled with anxiety. And she just said, I don't want to be a burden. And I kind of was like, what? And she's like, I don't know why I'm like this. And it was just so emotional. Like, I don't know what it was, but it just hit me that, oh no, like she actually knows that she's sick. And my heart just broke. And she just kept saying it over and over. I don't know why I'm like this. I don't want to be a burden. And I just kept trying to convince her that she wasn't. No, Mom, you're fine. You're fine. Of course not, Mom. Of course you're not a burden. I'm here to take care of you. And then my panic set in. And I was like, oh, shit. If the doctor comes in right now, he's going to think I'm crazy because she's completely lucid and speaking sentences, knows where she is, knows what's going on. And I got very fearful. I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to let her stay here. They're not going to take her. I believe this moment with my mom that I'd never had. And I wish I would have responded better. I wish I would have asked her some things and talked to her and asked questions, but it didn't dawn on me. My panic set in too quickly. And then the switch was off and she jumped up and jumped over me, went to the door, started to open the door and yelling, I have to get to Phil. I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. So now I'm like, oh gosh, I'm pounding on the door, help, I need help. Please come in. They come in, they shoot her with a tranquilizer, and y'all, it took seconds and she was down for the count. She was out. On the bed, out. Couldn't wake her, right? So that was, I feel like I aged to 10 years in that minute that all that took. And I was just kind of looking at the doctor like, what now? And so he's like, yeah, so I'll be right back with some paperwork. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. You're just gonna leave me in here? What if she wakes up? Like, I didn't know what to expect, right? But he's like, she won't be waking up until most likely tomorrow. And this was mid-afternoon. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, see you in a few minutes. So he comes back, got some paperwork, and I start to fill it out, and filling out all her information, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, all right, so she's going to need to sign this consent form. And I look at him like, he goes, yeah, she needs to sign that or she can't stay. She has to, sign off on being, checking in. And I'm like, I'm looking at her, I'm looking at him. I'm like, sir, how? He's like, here's a pen. She just needs to sign this. And he turns his back on me. And I'm like, okay. Mom, let's can you just wake up real quick and sign this? And I grab her hand and I sign it obviously for her, right? She's completely out of it. And I'm like, okay, sir, she signed this. We're good to go. And he's like, all right, ma'am, thank you very much. We'll take care of her from here. And I'm like, oh my God, how is this legal? How is this happening? But y'all, I wasn't going to ask any questions. God bless him in that moment was all I could think. Doctor, thank you. Bless you. I bless your family. I bless your children. I am beholden to you for the rest of my life. Thank you for making this happen. So he's like, hey, we're going to take care of her from here. You need to go home or go, and come back in the morning. So Vicki and I left. I couldn't even tell you what we did. I think I was so exhausted. And my grandma and my grandpa at the time lived at a beautiful assisted living place in Davenport. And they would rent a room, really beautiful room at the facility for I think it was $35 for the night. Beautiful room. So my aunt had made arrangements for Vicki and I to stay there. So I'm sure I saw my grandma and grandpa. I'm sure we saw them, but honestly, I don't remember anything else from that night. Just pure exhaustion. And so slept And the next morning, got up and headed back to the hospital. So we got back to the hospital in the morning and went and checked on my mom. And she was medicated and lucid, and was rested and hydrated and had her IV in. And I don't know if she'd eaten, but was getting hydrated and nutrients intravenously. And it just was, I was like, okay, like calm. She told Vicky and I, she's like, I need you to go to my house. And in my bedroom, I have a bag and it's got $1,500, $2,000 cash in it. I need you to go get that. I'm like, what? She goes, I need you to go get that. And my wedding ring is there too. Oh, okay. Okay. Where's your key? My purse is over there with my things. Okay. I'm just going to take your purse. All right. We'll go to the house later today and we'll look for that. So I kind of look at Vicky and I'm like, okay, we have plans this afternoon. So at this time we were, had a meeting with the social worker. So my mom came out and we sat at a little table, and my mom sat to my left and I sat, and then Vicky sat across from me and the social worker sat across from my mom. She started asking questions about my mom's situation, and my mom would answer, I would answer, and one of the questions, and my mom was doing really good, really lucid, was able to answer, and her social security number and her address and her health and some things like that. And the social worker asked, and I can't remember exactly how the question was posed, but asked about me and my childhood. And I just said I was removed from the home when I was 11, and just kind of made a look that I really didn't want to talk about it in front of my mom. And so Vicky wrote down, just on a little notepad, she just wrote, she was abused, and just showed it to the social worker without obviously my mom seeing that. And my mom jumped in with, we were too poor to keep her. And I just kind of looked, and she's like, we didn't have very much money and we couldn't afford her. And it just kind of, hit me a little bit that this was maybe her truth. And this is maybe what her mind had decided was fact. That, not that I was abused, not that she had any hand in that. It was simply that they couldn't afford to keep me. And in that moment, I kind of had a revelation that I don't need to pontificate on this. I don't need to disagree. I can let her go to her grave believing that. I can let that be the truth. It's not my truth, and it's certainly not the facts. It's not true at all. But I can allow her that truth. As I've said before, her life was dark enough. And I didn't need to make it any darker by making her acknowledge or take any responsibility for what happened to me. It's not necessary for me or my healing to punish her. So we we let it be there. And in the 12 years that have passed, never talked about it again, never brought it up again. That's going to be her truth, and I have mine, and they don't have to be the same. And again, God bless this woman, this social worker. She goes, we have a place where we believe they'll take her, and it was called Vera French in Davenport, Iowa. We'll see if they have a bed, and we can move forward with getting her set up there, getting her transferred there when she's released from here, and hopefully can set this up as a residence for her. You know, does she have any income? No, she has, she'll get Phil's Social Security benefits, and that will be it. And they're like, well, they work with people, and I'm sure that will be just fine with them. And, you know, long story, but that's where she ended up being from that winter of 2009 until her dementia and illness got worse, and they could no longer care for her there, and she needed a facility that could cater to her declining mental state. But before she was released from the hospital, Vicki and I had a job to do. We had to go to the house. And so I will fill you in on that little adventure next time. It's quite the adventure. And then how my mom is doing now, how she's been doing these last 12 years. And everything from that point on next time. So again, I just want to thank you so very much for being here with me, allowing me this this platform to you know, kind of get a little diary of my past out and share it with y'all. And I hope that it can help some of you maybe process some things, or even just get to know me a little bit better for those of you that I'm close to, and maybe become closer to some of you, and entertain you, and just a little story time. But I love y'all so much, and I thank you for those of you that are reaching out and sharing your thoughts with me, and sharing a little love and kindness with me. It's really so greatly appreciated, and I love you, and I can't wait to see you next time. See you soon. Bye.